So working weekends is not the end of the world. So weekends, in defining a workday, we talk about this a lot. Showing up does not constitute working, right? Work is a measurable output. One of my measurable outputs is training, coaching, and motivating you guys to then go do an output. By showing up today, you have started, but if you don't make at least 50 calls and a few contacts, ideally 10 a day, you didn't work. Is that fair? Don't show up and do nothing and then say you worked. That's not working. That's just walking around. So first you have to define, did I actually get something done? And a lot of that is doing what you're told to do. So new guys, if you want to work, the minimum, absolute bare minimum is 10 contacts a day, whatever it takes. You can take 4 hours to do it by holding an open house, or that might take you 40 hours holding open houses, right? You can make 10 contacts on the phone. You could start some DMs back and forth on social media via TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. You could go across the street and talk to people that are parking their cars, say, hey, my name's Adam. I work at the real estate place right there. Just a heads up, you can always park in our parking lot because real estate agents are never at the office that late. By the way, who do you know that's thought about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? You could dress up like a Girl Scout and sit in front of the Alversons, right? There's a lot of ways to do it, and it's your guys' jobs to figure out how to do it. It's also Jason's job to figure out how to get his 10 contacts, because if it works for you guys, it's gonna work for Jason, and it also is gonna work for me. That's your prescription. That's the minimum. You do this for 3 years. 3 years. You have built your own business, Nisha Real Estate LLC, right? If you work really hard, Nisha, for 3 years, you're gonna have a good career, right? But you have to grind it out. You've gotta show up and you've gotta do the stuff you don't wanna do for at least 3 years. You get enough momentum. Think of a merry-go-round. They're big and they're heavy, right? Especially if you throw a bunch of kids on it, and they're hard to get started, right? Really hard. At first it's like, and then it starts to move, and you're like, okay. And you're doing your little circle thing. And then pretty soon, you can hop on, right, and it's spinning. And then you just need someone on the ground to keep it going. Because once you've got that initial momentum, like that's a literal, it's weight moving in a direction, it will continue, right? Law of entropy, object in motion tends to stay in motion, object at rest tends to stay at rest. So you guys are at rest right now, and you will tend to stay at rest. And if Jason stops working for 90 days, he will officially be at rest, and he will have to restart that whole damn thing. My day looks different from your guys' days, right? I did the merry-go-round thing. I pushed the merry-go-round so hard for so long that there's room for a lot of people to jump on it, and it spits out how many, Jason, if you had to guess, about half or more than half of all the transactions that we've closed this year were from me. Right, as far as like me giving deals out to people. I am providing, just like the place model, you do a closing, I provide you a deal that also you can close. That's like outside of what I've done personally, like in my own. So we're giving out 60 plus deals to people that show up in work, right? Because that's what my merry-go-round is capable of. And then each one of you guys have an opportunity to create your own merry-go-round within mine. And if you so choose, you could at some point take it somewhere else, but watch out, because that merry-go-round doesn't go very good without it being on a bigger one, I can tell you that much. But you have to do the work first. And if you never do the work, you'll never get there. When I'm looking at my younger self, and then looking at what we're dealing with in the economy right now, in the housing market right now, there is no shame in having a second job. Right, there's no shame in that. There are 178 hours a week, 188 hours in a week. We sleep 8 times 7, 56 hours a week. What are we doing with the rest of our time? Honest to God, okay? When the office is empty and it's just me and Madeline in here at 4:30, if you guys aren't being productive working, right? Either working the drive-thru at McDonald's, bartending, working at a coffee shop, working at Hubbard's, Lowe's, mowing someone's lawn, hanging someone's Christmas lights, what are you doing? Because there's one law that I have lived by. If you ain't making it, you're spending it. right? If you are not making money, you are spending money. So how I got myself out of financial trouble was I never gave myself the opportunity to spend it. I would wake up, I would work real estate, and then I would work construction until it was dark. And I would go home, I would eat, I would go to sleep, I would wake up, I would work real estate, I would work construction, and I would go home. And then on the weekends when there wasn't a lot of construction, if I didn't have buyers and sellers, I was working at the little Black Rock coffee bar on Biddle. I needed fucking money, bad, right? And if real estate wasn't producing, I could frame homes or paint or remodel, and then I could sling coffee on the weekends. So if you guys are busting your asses and you're broke, it is 100% your fault, right? There are jobs available everywhere, especially for people that are willing to work. UPS, probably get a job there. FedEx, right? Mails flying around, boxes flying around, go work in the distribution center. Maybe road disposal needs some trash bears. Who knows, right? But you gotta want it. So if you come here and you don't do your 10 contacts and there's 18 hours of the day that you're awake, ask yourself, am I making it or am I spending it? Like, make no mistake about it. If I needed more money than what real estate would handle, you would see me handing out bags of chicken at KFC. Like, there is no shame in doing what's necessary to provide for yourself and for your family. So working weekends is not the end of the world. It is common. I have worked weekends since I started working. Always have. I wanted to get into construction so I wouldn't have to work nights and weekends. Like when I was running coffee shops, right? We were open from 5 a.m. to 11 and shit broke. So I was always there. And then I started my own business and guess what I found out? Yeah, still working nights and weekends, right? Because if you don't work the leads on the weekends, they're gone by Monday. And if you're out drinking and partying and not working on 104 days out of the year, you're going backwards. So then it takes Monday and Tuesday for you to get back to where you were on Friday. So now you're only actually working, pushing forward 3 days a week, right? So if you're working 3 days a week, because you took 2 off and it took you 2 to find yourself, and that's true. If you're working 3 days a week and I'm working 7 days a week, it's not even a competition anymore, right? The worst thing you can do for kids in education is give them 3 months off in the summer. They forget almost everything they learned that year. It's terrible. Like, it is really, really stupid to do. I know in like Utah, some other states that go year round, they have a little bit longer breaks for Christmas or whatever. Anyone familiar with that? That's smart, right? So if summer makes you dumb, so do the weekends. Like when the lead registers on Saturday night, call them. When they register on Sunday morning, call them. Because that's when they're there. Get to the office before everybody else. Practice your script, say them 10 times out loud, whatever you're gonna talk about that day, until you have it down pat. Start dialing by 7 or 8, and you dial until you have an appointment. And then once you have the appointment, you set it, and you continue until you have to be somewhere. And then you do that the next day. And then you do it the next day. And you do it on Saturday. And you do it on Sunday. That's what it takes to get the merry-go-round going. You guys ever see how big jets start? They load them with a bunch of shotgun shells. And they blast them all at the same time. A bunch of smoke comes out. Like, it takes a ton of force to get that turbine spinning. But once it does, it'll make, a 300,000-pound jet fly. But that's the level of effort, especially right now. Okay, the real estate market has never been this slow in 30 years. 30 years, since 1995. We have never sold this few homes. 3.7 million homes were bought and sold this last year. The average for the past 10 years was 5.9 million. Millions of people haven't transacted. That's double it because there's a buyer and a seller side. It's tough right now, but there's still 3.7, 3.8 million transactions that have happened this year. And we didn't get our unfair share because we didn't try to get our merry-go-round going. If you got no transactions, you have one thing to do: make contacts. And the people that will do business with you when you're new are in your backyard. The talent for my organization is also in my backyard. So Seth's first listing in his backyard, someone he knows, right? Nisha's first listing, first buy, someone Nisha knows. But is Nisha letting these people know? And is she letting them know in a level high enough to where they know that she is serious about it and not just playing around, right? Same with Victor. Victor, dude, your first deal is someone you know, right? Are you hitting them hard enough? Do they know how bad you want this, how good of a team you're on, or you just call them all once, say, hey, I'm in real estate, think of me, and then never talk to them again, right? Because there's the initial, but then we know it's between 8 and 12 where the magic happens. That's 8 and 12 conversations with your uncle before he remembers you're in real estate. 8 and 12 conversations with your cousin, right? With your buddy. Like it is that effort. Seriously, you guys need to be working your fucking asses off. Like legitimately. I still work my fucking ass off. So does my wife. And we're nowhere near stopping. We could. Like with the amount of real estate I own, I could full parachute and I would be fine. I'd probably run out of money about 180 years old. Okay? But I still, a lot of times, am the first one here. I'm the only one here on the weekends. And success leaves clues. So just remember that. What are the successful people doing, right? And then what are the people that aren't successful doing? Don't do what your buddies are doing unless your buddies are where you want to be, right? Don't hang out with people that aren't where you want to be, right? I don't hang out with people that make bad decisions. I don't hang out with people that complain. I don't hang out with negative people. I don't like hanging out with people that get sloppy drunk or get high all the time. Like, we don't match, right? I like being with successful people, with driven people. I like people that are more successful than me. I'm like, oh, okay. How'd you do that, man? What's going on? What are your habits? You're more jacked than me. You're fitter than me. What's your workout look like? What's your diet look like? Right? They're pulling me up. Instead of if we hang out with people that are negative or not where we want to be, whatever that looks like, right? There's a lot of ways to interpret that. If you're hanging out with those people, they're going to drag you down, right? Because if they see you doing well, it makes them feel bad. And so they want to pull you back. You guys have all seen crabs in a bucket. One little crab starts getting out and his buddy's pulling back in. That's what happens when you're hanging out with the wrong people. What you thought was hard, right? You thought it was hard until you started doing it, and then you realized you could do more, right? So we increased our workload capacity. How many hundreds of calls do I need to make? Right now, how many calls? How many hundreds? How many hundreds of hours do I need to work? How many hundreds of minutes do I need to do this? Change your perspective on this stuff, because most of it is right here. The successful real estate agents are not smarter than you guys. They're not smarter than you. Sometimes they're dumber. Sometimes you need to get dumber and stop thinking and just do, right? Analysis paralysis is one of the most dangerous things, right? It's the guy that's like, aim, oh man, ah. And the animal's going, okay, aim. I'd rather be the guy that's like, fuck it, and like start taking shots. My wife is an aimer. I'm like, no, let's go. Shit. Because we have opportunities, and the opportunities go away. They don't last forever. Like when in doubt, take action. Because action is the one thing that crushes doubt. You guys have an opportunity to create your own businesses within this business. It is yours. It is Victor's real estate business that I am helping as much as I can, right? This is Nisha's real estate business. But Nisha's got to do some Nisha things, right? Because it's hers, it's not mine. Because if it's mine and I'm paying you as an employee, you would probably be selling a shitload of houses because you would do exactly what I told you to do or you would get fired, right? But you're building your own businesses, which makes this unique situation where you are told what to do and it is up to you to actually do it. God, I wish people would fucking tell me what to do sometimes. I have to kind of figure it all out. You guys don't have to. Alyssa gets told what to do. Kind of nice. Hey, dude, produce report, make numbers work. She doesn't need to figure it out. You guys don't need to figure it out either, but you do need to do it, right? And treat it like a job, because it is. Your boss will fire you if you don't do anything, right? The only reason I don't fire people that don't do anything is it's like you're 1099s and that's not the role, but you guys should be firing yourselves. Put that pressure on.